So yeah, so we're going ahead and starting here on getting the Bagable plant mod updated to 1.8. I've already started the build process to get the workspace set up, and we're going to see if this will run. So what we did is went ahead and just changed the script out so that way it's set up. Same thing we did for the wooden shears mod, and we'll go ahead and we'll repeat this over and over again. Hopefully we won't have to do as much work as we transition forward. So unlike with wooden shears, we'll be backported from 1.10 to 1.8, which caused a huge amount of issues. Now we're going to be going from 1.8 forward. Why is this the Xbox? It's the development thing. Whatever. Apparently, I'm going to say Mixer's things are probably all messed up then if this is marked as Xbox. Because here, if you actually look at the channel, it says development underneath it. And sad thing, Mixer's got some pretty strict configurations for their channel. So if I actually go out to here, hit manage channel, and you go to change this, you don't really get a lot of options. So if I put development in here, you only get one option. You get the truth about game development. And if you type in, say, for example, Minecraft, you pretty much are stuck to mod packs, for example. There literally is no option for... Actually, I wonder if there's intelligent here. No? See, yeah, so Mixer isn't very friendly for this regard. So it's only got one channel for development. So if that's marked as... and if I just lost track of my channel too. There we go. So if that's marked as Xbox, it's marked incorrectly. Okay, so it looks like that went ahead and launched. You know what I'm actually thinking is that he probably logged in through his Xbox to watch Mixer stuff on there, and is probably confused of why he's seeing a coding video for that. Or that I got figured out wrong what this stuff is. So it looks like this built up right, so the Gradle log doesn't have any errors in it, so that's good. So we should be able to go ahead and launch this up. I might have to go around looking around Mixer to see if there actually is an appropriate channel description. We'll do that over here on this other channel while I wait for IntelliJ to launch. Yeah, and of course, if you actually do Google this stuff, you end up with getting all their APIs. I'll have to do that later. That's not worth my time. Okay, so this looks like everything is set up correctly. Oh, we're in the wrong workspace. Why did this... Ah, we're in the wrong folder. So I just wasted like 3 minutes of time. We wanted to run this guy. Derp. I probably just broke my 1.8 workspace for that mod. Oh well, so we'll launch this again, get back on track. So we gotta do this for this, so we'll update 1.8, go to 1.9, go to 1.10, 11, and then when dmod does finish the 1.12 scripts, most of these mods will probably just port straight to 12. As we noticed with wooden shears, the code from 1.9 the code from 1.10 worked in 1.9 and 1.11 really well. So I foresee that same thing going on here. We'll have to change maybe like 1 or 2 imports between each one, and then we'll be done. So this will go pretty quickly. We'll do this one, and then I'm probably going to have to prototype to see how wooden buckets is going to behave in newer versions. That's going to be the big one that's going to have trouble. And then if we do wooden warehouse, it's going to have issues as additional. So there's going to be quite a few issues back and forth. But yeah, so get this, and I'm trying to think of what else we want to do here, because we got the oil and ore mod, which we can port, which I probably should go ahead and do that one after this one, actually. Because that one's got a single block in it and a couple recipes and items, and it'll be a really good example mod to test to see how blocks behave in the newer versions, and then see how we can fake stuff out. I gotta actually pick one of these mods, and I gotta use it as a prototype to see if we can do artificial models with it. What I mean by artificial models, if I actually open this up, and we pop back to this over here. So in order to do models in order to do anything with the newer Minecraft versions, you have to make a model. And the models are really simple. They're just this file right here, which just describes, okay, what are you doing? What is your texture? How does it display? This is a model file for them. I want to figure out how can I make this without making the file. So how can I trick Minecraft into believing I have a model without generating these files? Voltage and ICBM are going to need these because I already have my own custom JSON system, and I don't want to redo some 90-something files just because the systems don't match up with each other. So in order to get around that, you make compatibility code. Now I've already got compatibility code in 1.7 that tricks the 1.7 system into using my JSON code, which works out really, really well. But in 1.8, that same code isn't going to work. And I closed that folder and I shouldn't have. What I can actually do, show in folder, and there we go. We're back into the folder we want to be. So now we have a IPR file, and I'm going to have to set this guy as ignore in the, yes, ignore everything that's an IPR, ignore and stop tracking. Ignore everything that is an IWS. What is an IWS? That's a new one for me. Anyway, those things are ignored. So we go ahead and stage these two files. Changed version to 1.8.9. Commit and hit push. So there we go. We got a 1.8 version already stabilized up there on its own branch. And that was weird. There's a bubble floating through the air. Oh well. It's one of the things I need to get like a webcam to actually when I do these streams so you can see like various things going on. Because that was really strange. There you go. What I probably should also do next time I do this, I should see if I can get the rest of the team to stream with me when we do streams. So, more than likely the project structure is broken like everything else is. I doubt it fixed itself magically. And I say this and it fixed itself magically. Yeah, because right there's the Forge Shores. How does that do, like, I don't understand this sometimes, that things will work and sometimes they won't work. It's very strange. Apple T and Tree One actually does work. That's cool. Now here's where one of the problems we're going to run into is that there's no such thing as a get block method anymore. So this is going to be interesting. So get block. So it's get block state, I think, is what it is now. Wow, there's a lot of little small things here. And it's using block pauses now. So that's going to be a whole problem by itself. Yeah, so I think it is get block state, and it's a block pause. Block pause is created via X, Y, and Z, so that's cool. The thing is, though, is we're going to want to go ahead and transition a lot of things, so yeah, we got some imports to fix too. Okay, so we're going to want to change, anytime we see this, we're going to want to change that to a block pause. Do we still need the world though? Where's the, where's this? So this just passes in a block. Yes, I'm going to say we still need the world, but then anytime we see X by Z, we're going to want to change this to a block pause. Import class. This is one big thing people had complaints about when transitioning to the newer Minecraft versions, is that using 3 integers is actually more efficient than using a data object. And I'm a little bit of a hypocrite when I say this too, because a lot of my stuff uses a position data object, but I use it very specifically when I know I'm going to be doing a ton of math on that position. Yeah, you get particular, like right here, we need to get the block pause that's below this, so I wonder if we can actually do math on the block pauses. So let's do pause dot. You can, but does it modify? It creates a new block pause. That's really cool. This dot down 1. This dot offset. If n equals 0, return this. It does. That's really cool. So what we want to do is we want to go down 1. I actually really like this. So that gives us our new block pause. So what I'm going to do is then go world.get block state. And this will give us a block state. I don't know what you do with block states though. What is a block state? Block state is a mess of something. Okay, you can get the block from it. Okay, so I'm going to say a block state is just a collection of property data. Okay, so what I want to do real quick is, this is going to probably be a little interesting. So we're going to want to make a block pause. So we're going to go pause down equals this. The reason we're going to track this is there's a couple things we can change here that I noticed when I was looking through the world class. Is we can go world dot is air, and we can just pass in pause down. So that'll help us a little bit here. And then we want to go placement dot can place block at pause. There we go. We fixed our code. That's cool. That cut down a little bit there. Actually, I kind of like that, even though that's probably not very helpful on the RAM. That actually is kind of cool. It's going to trash the rest of our code here. Since I know that Apple T and tree mod is not updated, I'm going to go ahead and just delete its handler. And that will save me from having to port that whole thing by itself. We do have a vanilla handler to work on, so it's not like we're out of the woods yet. And let's go ahead and pop over to Bagable plant mod, and we got to fix some imports here. So I got out of a lot of this work when I was working on Wooden Shears mod, because Kalatra went ahead and updated our stuff. Unfortunately, he no longer works for the team. He actually just decided he just didn't want to code anymore. Really odd considering how much work he did for the FTB team. Okay, so yeah, let's get rid of that guy. Actually, let's not get rid of that. I'm going to comment it out. Just comment this part out. And then we want to get an object here. So register. Why can't we get an object anymore? I'm going to say because this switched to something. Ah, yeah, it switched to resource location. So this changed to a resource location. Here we go. So that fixes our main class. So we're good there. So now we just got to fix the vanilla handler and register a model, which I think is the next step. Okay, so anytime we see this guy, we have to change this to a pause. Block pause, pause. So this was a pretty good prototype to go ahead and start updating on, because it shows me where all the block pause stuff is, which is a big step we would have to do with VoltsEngine. VoltsEngine has so much code that interacts with the world that I'm probably just going to pre-update in 1.7 before even trying this, because this is just going to take way too much time. The one option I actually have been looking at is just rewriting VoltsEngine from scratch in 1.8 and then backporting it to 1.7. Is legitimately been an option of mine that I've been thinking about. I really hope to avoid that though. Can we? I mean, if we pass in pause, can we get the block? Maybe? No. We can do this though. Get block state, and then do this. Get block. Now, is there ever a chance that I can get null out of this? So we're in the chunk now. No, there's never a chance you can get null out of this. So it'll always return you error block default state. And hopefully error block default state will toss back essentially something. So this won't ever null out on me. Okay, break and get count. So let's pass a pause into that. Okay, this one's going to be interesting. So this is going to be... This needs to be final. Change this to start. Block pause pause equals start. And what you want to do is pause equals start dot down. And this will be pause dot up. I really like this up down thing. This is kind of cool. I'm pretty sure that my pause system in 1.7 has the same feature, so I don't need to go add it to mine, but that is still a pretty cool feature. And of course we got a git block system here, so we're going to just go ahead and copy this guy. Now we want to change this to, no, it should be fine, yeah. Yeah, we're good there. Okay, this one sets block to air, so I think we want to pass pause on that. This needs to be documented. Delete loop. Find. I think with what we're trying to do with this one is to find the bottom. I don't know why these weren't documented though. Okay, so how do you set a block? Set block. Huh? Get default state. I think it's what we're gonna do. That's not a good sign when you hear me start to say that, though. This means we're probably going to break something. We'll probably have to spend a little bit of time debugging, which is exactly what I wanted to do in the first place, is find a mod that needed to be updated but would give me enough insight on what's going on that I wouldn't just be handed an easy button of another easy mod to update. Because one of the main reasons I actually do mod is I want somewhat of a challenge. Not to say I'm exclusively here for the challenge, because I actually do a lot of this for other reasons, but it's kind of nice to be able to be presented with something that actually is difficult. I think I just put pause in here. Is replaceable. This would be world.get block state pause dot. Actually, was that down or up? That was up. So pause dot up. And then we just want to get block. Okay, everything looks good. Build, rebuild. Oh, I didn't want to rebuild that. I want to rebuild the whole project. That's probably going to error. Oh, yeah, that would error. The reason you never want to rebuild an individual class file in here is because IntelliJ is not smart enough to figure out how to rebuild the dependency files. Especially if they haven't been rebuilt before. Oh, yeah, we found some errors. I knew there was going to be some. A little bit naive to think everything was fixed already. Okay, so get rid of that. I think add information is still a valid system, so we're good here. Oh, well, here's something that's going to take a while to fix. This whole method probably doesn't exist anymore. Yep. Grab this guy. Pop him over here. Change this one. Change this one. I could probably tell you exactly who updated that method too by the fact there's an N at the end. You start to get really familiar with people who code, and I've seen quite a few people actually use that methodology. Well, I can just quickly do this. That'll be a cheap fix for that. We'll have to come back through here and properly update this later, but it's not a problem. I think I can just do pause.down here. I don't know if that'll do exactly what I think it will do, though. So we may have to come back through here and change it. So pause.z, is there just a z? Negative z is north. Enum facing north. Oh, yeah, right there. Negative z is north. This works exactly pretty much how everything else works. So the forge direction system is pretty much identical to this. This should be west. I have to check this one though. I always get east and west mixed up. So that was originally -x. Yep, I got it right though. That's cool. Get a little bit better about that. Okay. That's all been updated. We got to change this guy here, so this will be world.getBlockState pause.getBlock. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, this stuff is no longer usable. Everything else is fine. There's probably some more data we want to modify with this stuff though, but we are going to need to go ahead and implement a client proxy and a comment proxy. So do new package client, and then we want to do hit cancel on that. New Java class common proxy. So pretty much just be an empty object. And then we'll do a new one, client proxy extends common proxy. And then what we want to do is in the common proxy, we want a method called preinit, public void preinit. And then we want to go ahead and put this into our client proxy. Go ahead and override it, super.preinit. And then inside of our actual mod, right after we create this, you gotta make sure it's actually after this. You want to call preinit, or it's actually on the proxy.preinit. Now we have to actually register our proxy, which is done up here at the top. I want to say I'm going to put it right after the version numbers. So this would be public static common proxy, and at proxy. This should be server side equals com.builtbroken.bagable plant. This will be common proxy. I think you can actually just put flat out common proxy in this one too, but I don't know how well that works, so we're not going to do that version. Now, I'm doing this from memory too, so somebody tells me it's going to break on me. Normally what I do when I make new mods or I add proxies and stuff, I have a tendency just to copy and paste this line out of my other mods. Because it's boilerplate code for those who are familiar with what boilerplate means. It's code that you just remake over and over again with no real meaning. And additionally, what we also do to make sure we typed everything in correctly is copy the package from up there. Do that. And we actually almost messed up on the client. There actually needs to be a client right there. Because how this works is this is the file path to get to this guy. And this is the file path to get to this guy. So server side, it'll load common proxy, and then client side, it'll load client proxy. And if we actually had a dedicated server proxy file, it would actually load that if we told it to. Additionally, we can do a few other things. Yeah, let's do mod ID while we're at it too. And then mod ID is this thing right here. And that should do the trick. Now what we want to do in this thing is we want to go ahead and register. Now I am actually going to go ahead and open up the code for wooden shears for this thing because I don't want to sit here and just redo that one over and over again. So there's two things we want to go ahead and copy from wooden shears. We're going to want to copy the resources. So we want to have this same path here. So this would be name of the mod, models, and then item. It's actually going to screw up with my actual other mods too, because we have a models folder as well. Luckily, we don't use the items folder, or that would be kind of dumb. Is that actual item or items? It's actually item. Okay, cool, we checked that. And then in here, we're going to want to go ahead and we're just going to copy the basic guy, and we're going to toss him in there. But we're going to name him, I think it's just Bagable Plant. We'll change the name in a second. So this is, oh, it's just called bag. So refactor, rename, bag. And then if we go back to wherever the item went to, grab this, and we'll have to remember just to go ahead and put, I think it's items in slash. Open this guy up again. Yes, items in slash. So that's good. So that will give us our correct location. Now let me make sure the texture, so there's bag and then bagged filled. So we're going to want to copy this guy again, pop him over here, and then we're going to underscore filled. And then we're going to make another texture called filled. So we're going to have two versions of this, which means we're going to have to register two icons. Now I need to go check to see how it determined the texture path. I'm actually going to get cracking for this. Why are you discovering more languages all of a sudden? Oh, because I need to ignore everything. No, cancel. Ignore. Get Kraken's got a flaw in it when it comes to the ignore system. So what I want to ignore is I want to ignore everything under output, Gradle, and then, oh no, I don't want to ignore Gradle, but I want to ignore build. So we have to fix this real quick or it's going to screw us up. Actually, you know what I'll do? This will be even quicker. Is I'll pop over to wooden shears and I'll copy its get ignore. Control Z, Control C. Pop over here, Control A, Control V. That should do the trick. Yeah, there you go, it fixed itself. We do want to ignore this guy. Let's ignore SMB text. Ignore. And then what else we got here? Everything else looks like it should belong. Cool. So, yeah, I did actually want that though. I was like, I lost my train of thought there for a second. So what are we at recording time? 27 minutes? Not too bad. So we want this guy. The reason I want this guy is I forgot to take track of what the icons look like. It does use metadata, so that just saved us so much time and effort. Because the metadata for this is so much easier to do than anything else. But we do still want to go to wooden shears, so source, main, well, not resources though. Java, com, BuiltBroken, wooden shears, content, and then I want, not custom mesh div, I want the client proxy. I want this line down here, which is commented out. And then we want to go to our client proxy and put him down there. Now this is how you declare you have custom models. So this will be, or not item bag, so this will be Bagable plant, item bag, metadata of 0, and then we would have a model location here, which we need to go grab as well. The format for that is what I'm actually looking for, not the actual model. So this will be custom mesh definition. You only use custom mesh definitions, by the way, for anything that is very weird, that does not fall into the category, doesn't work with metadata, or doesn't work with something else. We're probably going to end up using this for other things. The problem is there's a lot of tweaking that needs to go on with this too that I haven't got sorted out yet. But we want this thing. So go ahead and grab this. Import, grab this front part. That'll give us a register name. So this is our default, and then we want to register one more. And then this is going to be plus underscore, and then I believe filled. And this should work. So we'll go ahead and launch this. I'm going to have to go ahead and fix our launch conditions. And all we have to do is just specify. Oh wait, hold on. I clicked the wrong. No, I thought I clicked the right box. Yeah, right there. There we go. I must have clicked the one below by mistake. So go ahead and launch that, and that should do the trick. So we should go ahead and get this to work. Now we're going to have probably a couple issues with crashing, maybe with trying to pick some stuff up, and we'll just have to sort those out as we go, but it's basically updated at this point. I'm going to go ahead and sync my code while I do this too. Removed. Was it Apple? Yeah, Apple tea and milk. So I'm going to ATM handler until the mod updates. Ported code to 1.8.9 added model and additional render code. I always want to make sure you add additional comments as needed. You should see Lex Manos' additional comments, like 3 paragraphs long. I was reading through some of the new Forge changes in 1.12 earlier today. A ton of changes. We do have some issues right down here, so I'm going to say the textures are probably not going to work. And this is kind of... This is the same issue I was having yesterday too, so we're going to have to toy with this. Probably what I need to do is register my variations, is what I missed to do. And let me fix the audio so we no longer get some back feed. Music sound, go down here. Yeah, single player, create new world, creative, create new world. You know, I think it just occurred to me. I wonder if the Xbox version doesn't synchronize the changes in stream tags. Oh well. Yeah, here's our bag right here. You can notice it's rendering as a block. Let's test to see if it functionally works really quick before we close out and try to fix the icon. I think once again, it's probably just I didn't register the variations. But if we put some sugarcane down and we can't pick it up, we know that there's also some functionality problems. Yeah, there's some functionality problems. Or I double-clicked, because you notice how I got the items back? No, actually, it can't take root there. Can't take root. Yeah, so there's a problem here. So yeah, there's some functionality problems I'm going to have to sort out here. So we'll go ahead and quit this. And so what I think I need to do is if we pop this back open, is there is a register variation system here. And I think what we got to do is just got to register your variations. This one's pretty straightforward. We just need... I think we just need to run this thing right here. Oh, you're looking for a string. Okay. Cheat real quick. No? You won't let me do that? Second argument, you're wrong. Found string requires resource location. Maybe I need to just do this. That seemed to work. Let me check what am I doing here. Yeah, I am registering the model, so that does make sense. So we'll go ahead and do this. And we're going to indent this guy down so that way he's easier to read. Okay, so we're going to launch it again and see if that fixes it. I don't think I'm going to need a custom model definition. If that doesn't work, then there is another change we can do to the items that might fix it. And if that doesn't work, then I think I'm just going to take a break for a little bit and go read some documentation again. 1.8 seems to be so strange because a lot of this code works really smoothly in 1.9 and 10, but then 1.8 it's extremely finicky, and I don't know who to blame. I can't, because you really can't just blame people like Mojang or Forge Team for things going wrong because, well, Mojang makes the game for themselves, they're not mod driven, and then Forge has to work around Mojang's bullshit, so any problems that happen are just a combination of crap. And it happens. Anyways, seeing as we got that error again, I'm going to say it's not going to work. Speaking of which, this takes a while to load. I just noticed that. If I load a single blocks mod in 1.7, it actually loads really quick. I wonder why it's taking so long to load in 1.8. Yeah, still not working. The next option is... Yeah, hold on. So we got them registered here. You know what? I think I know I did it wrong. What is your registry name? Yeah, so I need to name these guys actually after the item itself, because it's looking for the item. Actually, when I was about to rename the texture, I would have derp of the day. Be like, why isn't it working? Well, you renamed the texture instead of renaming the actual file. Do refactor. Hopefully I didn't rename anything else. IntelliJ has a very bad habit of if it like finds the word bag anywhere, it'll rename it everywhere. Just to check that, I need to go make sure I didn't rename any of this stuff up here. Bagable plants, bagable plants. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, so debug again, see if that fixes it. That may have just been the problem right there. Now, if this does work, I'm going to remove the variation registry and see if that actually also works. Because we want to make sure that we're using the minimum amount of code required. That way, one, the load time goes up, the load time goes down, and then two, we don't cause other issues. So far, no errors. That's a good sign, I think. This still takes a while to do, though. One of the downsides of using a JSON-based system to make a game work is your load time is going to be pretty high. I know we had that problem with voltage, and we noticed there was like the odd thing with our code is it doesn't take as long as Minecraft's code to load. So I got my own JSON system that loads from inside jar files and loads from a resource folder as well. And it only adds maximum 20 seconds more to the load time. And that's only if you're loading a lot of files. We'll probably do some more testing with that though, and see what's wrong. If we discover something that Mojang is doing wrong but we're doing right, I may go give that code to the Forge team. Oh yeah, our icons are working. Cool. So yeah, so we got that, and we already know this is broken. So we're going to close this. And then what we want to do is pop over to our client proxy, and I want to get rid of this thing. And see if this actually makes a difference. Because it's very important that when you're modding, it's like, don't just accept something for it's working. Try to figure out why it worked and it wasn't working beforehand. That way you know definitively what you're doing and you're not taking guesses and you're not copying and pasting code and you're not doing various other things. I'm watching a mod developer who sits in one of my general channels. That's kind of how he's behaving right now, is he's not taking the time to learn why something works the way it is. He entirely depends on a working example. If he gets a working example, he'll go, "Oh, I understand what that is, but I've been there before. I've done the same exact thing. I went, oh, that's how it worked." And then you get like a week down the road, you're like, "But that doesn't make sense. It doesn't work anymore." And you try to do the same thing, and you never took the time to figure out why your code worked or did not work. You didn't play with it. You didn't intentionally try to break it. Since like early days when I used to mod, I've actually went around and started doing stuff like that, where I go out of my way to try to understand why my code's doing something versus not doing something. It's really, really important to do. It dramatically changes your understanding of how things function. It also makes it, if you ever get a bug, you can really quickly diagnose what is wrong, even if that bug should have never happened in the first place. With modding, you get a lot of those, by the way. Yeah, so that code didn't matter. So registering variations is not required for metadata. I'm going to assume variations is required for MBT or other types of systems. So we don't need this code. So we know this for sure. So what reason why our code wasn't working is I just named the files wrong. What we could have also done instead of going through this process is I could have just changed these namespaces as well. So what this is doing is it's using the registry name of the item. The registry name of the item is going to be the name of the mod, colon, and then the Bagable plants here, which is a really fugly name, but it works. And of course you got the underscore version for the filled version, and it works really, really well. So now the only thing I got to do is fix the placement, but seeing as the recording is already at 40 minutes and the stream is at almost 2 hours, I'm going to go ahead and cut this here, and I'll be back probably tomorrow, not the same time, but just watch on Twitter for announcements. By the way, the Twitter, if I can grab it here. So my Twitter is Twitter/DarkArtsman. There you go, you get to my Twitter pretty much, I think. Yep. So if you just watch on here, I'll announce when I do streaming time. So I already announced for today's stream. I'll announce for it as well. Tomorrow, if I get up early enough, I'll go ahead and announce it an hour or more before I start, and that way it'll do pretty well. Anyways, I'll see you guys all later.